Hello everyone, welcome back. So, like many of us, we are inundated with junk mail. My email host is SiteGround. When I inquired with SiteGround, how can I export my junk mail folder, import it into SiteGround to block the emails, they told me it couldn't be done. However, with a lot of head scratching and some research, I found out how to do it. So this video will show you how to take your junk mail from an Outlook folder, import it into SiteGround, and I'm sure you could also do it with many other hosting companies, and block the emails at source. Now what that means is, by blocking it at source, it will not appear on your PC, your Mac, your mobile, etc. It just gets blocked. So you have to be very careful that whatever you put in there will get blocked. That is a keyword, blocking. So if you were to by mistake put in your mother's email address, she's going to get very upset because she's not going to be able to message you. So you've got to be a bit careful. I've got a few safeguards in place which I'm going to cover throughout this video. So let's see how we're going to do this. So here we are. I've got 15,080 email addresses in my junk mail. So what I'm going to do is go up to File, Open and Export, Import Export, Export to an file. I want it comma separated values. I've already selected because I've selected it down here. It's already found the junk folder. So if you're not in the right one, scroll to where you want, click next, find somewhere on your computer where it's going to go, and I've got a folder here and it's actually going to overwrite because I've already done a test telling me yes, I want to overwrite. Click that box, and now what I want to do is, now I'm going to clear this because I've already selected this. But what you're going to do, if your box doesn't look like this, just click on clear map, and the only thing we want is the from address. So click the from address and drag it over into this field, because all this is rubbish. We just don't need it. So once you've got the from address, click OK. It's going to do and finish. So now it's exporting and making it into a file. Takes a little while because there's 15,000 junk mails. It's exporting and putting it into comma separated value format in Excel. So we're going to now close from this and open Excel. So we've opened the CSV file in Excel. First thing we want to do is delete the first title bar, and then just to see, because I know this file's got a lot of junk in, we are just going to do data sort. Don't need to expand selection, column A, and this review will reveal our problem. Okay, so what you're going to do in the first row of column B is put in this command, and what it's going to do is going to look in column A and search for the first less than sign, and the code here is telling us it's actually in the 11th position. So if you count the character across, that would be 11. So now we want to copy this down only to the boxes that we're concerned in, because we know we've only got about 500 of these. I'm just going to scroll this down, and it's going to stop here. Now don't worry about this crap down here, we're going to get rid of that shortly. So now what we're going to do, we want to extract the best part of the email out from column A and get it into column C. Okay, in the next column, what we're going to do is type this command, equals MIDI bracket A1 comma B1 plus 1 comma 100. So what that does, it looks in column A and looks at the character in column 11 and adds 1 to it. So it's going to look here at the 12th character. So it finds this less than symbol, adds 1, so it's now starting on the A. Then it's going to copy up to 100 characters along and then give you the answer. So what that does, it gives you this. But at the moment, this is a command. So what we need to do is copy, like we did before, copy this command all the way down, whoops, to here. So we're making progress. Stretch that out a bit. Now this is not text, so the next command I want to do, I'm just going to use find and replace command. I could do like we did before, a different command, but this makes it easier. So now I'm going to copy all of these. There must be an easy way to do that. So right click, copy, click in the first cell, right click, and then paste values, which is the clipboard with the 1, 2, 3. So it doesn't look like anything's happened, but what we've got now, just press escape to get rid of the marching ants. This is now text. You can see the code's disappeared and we're dealing with text. So what I can do now is click the whole column, go home, find and replace, find the greater than, replace with, I'm going to put space, replace all, and it found 554 in my case. So now we've got the email address, so that's good. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to select all of these, and if anyone knows how just to select a block of text, please tell me. So right click, cut, click in the first column, insert cut cells. Working with big text is difficult. So now column B and column C, we can delete them because we don't need them any longer. So I'm just making my screen a bit smaller because it's actually hard to work with. So another interesting thing now is if we right click data and we sort column A, you can see now it brings up all this rubbish. So because the rubbish is in a block, we can delete it quite easily. So I'm going to click on the first one, hold shift, scroll down, shift, delete, and then do data sort column A again. So let me see, I know there's duplicates in this file, so the next thing we're going to do is to find out how to delete duplicates. Okay, with the correct coding, which is this one in the first line, once it's copied down, you'll get columns like this. I made a mistake first of all, which has been corrected in this video, so no problem. So what we're going to do now is we've added in the headings. We're going to go data, filter, and these little boxes appear. So we're going to pick on there, and we want to see the duplicate ones. So click off that, and these are all the duplicate ones. So now what we're going to do is select them all. You can see that there's lots of eBay ones. Okay, it found in my case 1182, and we're just going to delete them. So now we're going to go back up here and click no duplicate, and this should all be individual email addresses. So just a quick scroll down. Lots of admin there, but that's okay. Right, that's good. So now what I would recommend is that to make sure that you haven't got by mistake your own email address in this list, search for email addresses that you use. So I'm going to type in one here. It's found one there. So I'm going to right click and delete that. Find next, no more. Right click here and type in another one. It's found one, so right click there, delete that. Now I've got no idea why these email addresses have appeared in the list, because these were only received emails. So if you've sent emails to yourself, like I sometimes do, so I record information, that's the only reason I can think your own personal email may appear in the list. So click there, find all, no, click there. Okay, so I'm happy none of my email addresses appear in there. Now, as I said before about joking about your mother's email address, just search for say your mother's email address or a key email address. Now that brings it up because Jan is in there and there's only one. So I'm happy that the email addresses which appear in this list are the email addresses I want to get rid of. Now let's just have a quick scroll through this. This may be wrong, but obviously I've received an email address from here, so we'll see whether SiteGround spits it out. There's some dodgy Amazon ones there. That all looks good. So let's just have a scroll down. I'm just seeing if any obvious non-formatedly correctly email addresses that I can spot. Nothing obvious anyway. I know when I upload this to SiteGround, if there is an error at all in this list, SiteGround will tell you and won't accept it. Okay, so I'm doing another check. I want to check that the email address has the @ symbol in. So in C2 I've typed in this code, and then I'm going to double click and it copies it all the way down. I didn't know that, so I've answered my own question. So now we can data sort, click and only show false, and there's one because there's obviously a heading field left in, so we can delete that. Go back here and say true. So hopefully now we've done a good check that all the email addresses that we've received should be correctly formatted, and I hope we've weeded out all the junk. So we will continue. Okay, so we need to adapt this file for uploading to SiteGround. So I'm going to delete the titles. I'm going to delete column B and C. I'm now going to data sort column A, because that should get rid of all the spaces. Okay, so now I'm going to insert headings, and I'm going to insert 2 columns. So make these a bit bigger. The first column we're going to name local underscore part, all lowercase, and then sender underscore flag, and then the main column is address. So now I need to save this as a CSV file. So I'm going to say file, export, change file type to CSV delimited, save as, going to put it back in the same folder. I'm going to say save, it's already there, so I'm going to replace it. Okay, so now we should be ready to upload it into SiteGround. So we're going to close this and log into your cPanel and go to Spam Expert. Log into the domain that you want to put in the spam mail to. Okay, so once you're in your Spam Expert, we need to come incoming protection settings, sender blacklist, that's the one. And you get a thing like this. Now if I show results, I should get all the ones I've already put in there. So I'm hoping when I upload this folder, this file, it's not going to cock it up. So import senders from CSV file, select CSV file, document, then import. Invalid value sender flag, right, sender flag. So let me check. So import senders, import local, spelt right, local part, sender flag, address. So here we are with our file, but now in this column we need to put both underscore check, and if we double click that, does it copy? Yes, it copies it all the way down. So give that a while to populate all the way down. Feel like we're winning. So now we're going to save this file again as a Excel file, and then we're going to big file, import file. Right, so I've had this before. So invalid value address. So I'm going to have to go back in the file that I've made, Excel file, and search for him. So there, data, sorry, home, find, paste. Now, why is that not a valid email address? I have no idea. Ah, look, there's a space behind it. I'm going to make sure I've got no spaces, because that seems to be an issue. So let's try this. Find and replace, find, blank space, replace with nothing. Ah, okay, so it found 552 blank spaces. Okay, so let's save this again. out this. Import, let's try again. Okay, right, so this is interesting. It's found an invalid email address. So it's obviously got no file extension. So that's going to be another test we need to do to make sure it has a dot in the email address after the @ Okay, so let me find out how to do that. Okay, so we're back in an Excel file trying to find email addresses without a full stop after the @ sign. So what I've done in column D is use this search thing that we've used before. So I'm asking it here to find where the @ symbol is in column C, and then here we've used this before. It's then finding all the information after the @ symbol in column C, and obviously the links are in the description where these codes are, and then I'm searching to make sure there's a full stop in column C. So once you've done that, if you do data filter, and I've also put a heading here, so you do data filter and these arrows come up. So this is telling you what position the full stop was found in, and you can see here we've got one that doesn't make sense, so that's the one we want to look at. So take off all, click on value, and you can see here some people are using some local host. So what we can do that and delete rows. So now if we take off the filter, we should be back. So now, because we're uploading this to SiteGround, we need to take off the filter. We need to delete these rows. I'm going to save my file again. See what errors we get this time. Here's the good news. So what is that missing? So that's got a full stop, so that's why we didn't find it in okay, so I'm back in Excel, and all I've done is done a data search for this. So I clicked on here, file, find, and that was the email at the end of the email address that we were looking for, and you can see it's brought up this weird email address. It's got a what's that, subscript, so we're going to have to delete that row and go through the whole process again. So bear with me. So here we are back in SiteGround, importing the file which has just been corrected. Fingers crossed, let's see what it brings up. There's another one. So it obviously doesn't like question marks in the Hotmail. Yeah, it's not a correct email address, and this is really strange because I've received these emails, so obviously SiteGrounds must recognize the email address because it sent it to me, but it's not allowing me to block it. That's really strange. Okay, bear with me. Okay, that's really weird because now I'm searching for the error that came up in importing the file, but it never found the I couldn't find the question mark. So when you search for it, it finds the email address, but there is no error. So I'm just going to retype this. Hotmail.com com. So I know it's only text. And save it and do the whole process again, so bear with me. So after renaming that cell, it's got further, but it's now found another one that isn't a correctly formatted email address. So what am I going to search for now to find that? That's really strange. So let me just copy this one and go back and see what's what. Okay, so I've just done a search for it and it's found the file. Now I suppose you could search Excel somehow that when it finds a period or a full stop that it's got letters after it rather than numbers, but this is obviously not a valid email address. It's got corrupted somehow. So what I'm going to do in the meantime is just delete this row, save it and try and upload it again, so bear with me. So now I've got this error by deleting that email address. It's invalid send flag, so let me investigate that. Okay, this is really weird. What I did, laboriously, I had to delete all the emails by or all the entries. So I had to select all, which I could only get 100 pages lines recognized at one time. And then I went down and removed, and I did that many times to get rid of nearly 1,400 entries. So then once I had done that, I showed results and it was empty. So then what I did, I uploaded the file again, and it came up with a process error, and I didn't capture that on video. However, I just kept pressing show results, and this number was clicking up, like, in the background the server is adding the entries to the blacklist, which it was doing, and within 5 minutes there's 13,765, and if we look in the spreadsheet, that's all bar one of my lines. So I've got 13,767 excluding one for the header. So it's all uploaded. So that's really weird. So I think what I'm going to do next time, because there's going to be a follow-up to this video, it's bound to be, because when I add more emails to this list, I'm not going to go through the process of deleting them all off the spam experts server, because it's so time consuming. What I'm going to do, I'm going to save the email file, the Excel file that I've created as a date, and then when I export the emails from Outlook, I will see whether I can add the date into the file. So then I can go through the Excel file and only deal with the email spams that have been added from a certain date. Anyway, that will come in a follow-up video. I'm really sorry this video has dragged on, but I've had to remind myself how to do this process, and it's quite crippling in the way that you have to get your emails exactly right for the system to take it. Now I understand that process, it's no problem, but it's been a learning experience for me, and I will try and put timestamps on the video so that you can whiz through it. Now hopefully you won't get too many errors, but I think the video does show how to find some of the errors. Now if you get a different error, please add it into the comments, so especially if you found a way to get over it, so then we can all learn from one another. And if you don't like to make videos, just drop me an email or put it in the comments, and at least then I've got some research to go on the next video. Anyway, that's Andy signing out for now. Hopefully I've stopped you receiving lots of spam mail. I know it works for me, and now I've just updated it, so it's going to stop a lot of the other ones coming in. Anyway, that's handy. Good afternoon.